Yard line, he's running through everybody. Touchdown, 7-0, 5:37 left in the first quarter. Second quarter it was 7-3. Eric Carlson, nice little slant to Josh Lustig, 5 yards, 14-3 Erie Prep. Later in the second, Shawntae Spencer for Woodland Hills and Jason Russell, 28 yards to the 9. That led to a touchdown. It was 14-9 at the half. They missed the extra point. Still 14-9 in the third. Carlson to Lustig again, 43 yards to the 1. That led to a touchdown, 20-9. And then third quarter, still 20-9. Maurice Walker, 14-yard touchdown. They went for 2, didn't make it, so it was 20-15 Erie. And then fourth quarter, Curtis Hall, 4-yard touchdown. Woodland Hills goes up 23-20 after the 2-point conversion, but 1:35 left. Eric Carlson. This is a nice throw on the run. He put some zip on that ball. That kid's got an arm. Ed Hinkle, 17 yards, touchdown, 27-23. Then 27 seconds left. Woodland Hills still with a chance on 4th and 8. That's Shawntae Spencer. That's Raphael Smith. They say no catch. He didn't catch it. The replay will show you that he didn't catch it, but it also didn't matter because Woodland Hills had an illegal receiver downfield, and it wouldn't have mattered because the play wouldn't have counted. But they lose 27-23.
It was a great effort on both teams. We knew they were a great football team. They played well all year. They have a great bunch of athletes. I give them a lot of credit. They played hard. I give our kids a lot of credit also. They never gave up even to the last there. We had a tough call there at the end. You know, they would be making the trip. So what are you going to do?
Good year for them. This is at West Mifflin tonight. That's Jesse Jones for Tyrone for a touchdown. 4-yard run made it 7-0. They led Waynesburg. Second quarter still 7-0. Lee Fritz. He's going to take it in himself. 10 yards, 7-7. Later in the second quarter, Brandon Hoover. Nice catch here. Steve Johnson, he's in. 14-7. Fourth quarter, 17-7 Tyrone. Fritz runs it in again. 17-13. The extra point was no good. And then Tyrone's going to run it out. They run out the clock there at the end, and Tyrone eliminates Waynesburg 17-13. And we did have one Western team win and win big. Southside Beaver 53-6 over Bishop Carroll. Well, Cordell Stewart sat down for a long interview with Thor Tolo of KDK.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of High School Extra here on Fox Sports Net. I'm Guy Junker, along with Kevin Gorman of the Tribune Review. We're down to the semifinals of the state playoffs. The high school season will end with the championship games in Hershey next week. And we're going to start off tonight teasing our big game of the night, and that would be Quad A, Woodland Hills. They've had a lot of offensive weapons all year. Maurice Walker is one of them. Another fine effort by Walker in this game against Erie Cathedral Prep, the District 10 champion. This was a great ball game. Seesaw going back and forth. We're not going to tell you who won it till a little later on in the show. Kevin was at the Waynesburg game. Tell us a little bit about Waynesburg and a team that had a lot of juniors this year, which bodes well for their team next year.
It sure does, and that's something they've relied all year on. Lee Fritz, their quarterback, Lanford Simpson, their big running back. They needed big games from these guys tonight if they wanted to get into the state championship game, and they got big games from them. Wait and see what happens.
Yeah, it's already been a terrific year for Waynesburg. The Raiders won their first WPIAL football title ever when they beat Washington last Saturday at Three Rivers Stadium. And they were hoping to ride the wave of success into the state playoffs when they met District 6 champion Tyrone. The Golden Eagles are led by running back Jesse Jones, who averages 160 yards rushing a game. Waynesburg had not allowed a running back to go over 100 yards a game all year. How would this one play out in a battle of 13-0 teams? Let's go to West Mifflin to check in on the AA semifinals.
Warm them up, warm them up. Get that tube, get that crew tube, baby. You add it to the wrecking crew. Take it to these dudes. Let's take it to these dudes and show how to play some football where we come from.
Where they come from is Waynesburg. The other team's not Tennessee, it's Tyrone in the orange and white. Tyrone driving, 4th and long, Brandon Hoover. Incomplete, but they call pass interference on Lee Fritz. 2 plays later, Jesse Jones from 4 yards out takes it in for the score. The kick's good. Tyrone up 7-0 at the end of 1. Second quarter, Waynesburg in Tyrone territory when Bryce Cree fumbles. Tim Dry recovers for Tyrone. Waynesburg would hold Tyrone to a 3-and-out, gave them some field position, and then Lanford Simpson up the middle, rumbling and stumbling, picks up 22 yards, setting up a score on the next play. Let's go to Sam McCullum of WAMV Radio.
Take it to Simpson, and Fritz is taking it around the end. He's in the end zone. Touchdown, Raiders.
Lee Fritz on the keeper from 10 out, tied it at 7-7. Tyrone storms right back. Jesse Jones on the draw goes 24 yards. It sets up a score 4 plays later. He had 115 yards and a touchdown in the game. The touchdown comes when Brandon Hoover on play action finds Steve Johnson in the corner of the end zone. That's worth a second look. Beautiful catch, Kev.
That was a terrific pass and also a beautiful catch. They didn't think he was inbounds, but I didn't have any doubt in my mind. It was a beautiful play on both parts.
Should they have gone for it here? Time running out in the half, 4th and goal at the 4. They go for it, but they don't make it.
It's a play that Coach Russ Moore regretted afterward. He said, what do I do? The kids said, let's go for it. They went for it. It didn't work. They should have went for the field goal, as it turns out.
Lee Fritz picked off by lineman Scott Gumo in the 3rd quarter. It's 17-7 at this point. Tyrone then gives it to who else? Jesse Jones. Nice block by the fullback Josh Lucas. Springs Jones free for 18 yards. Same drive, different quarter. We're in the 4th now. Josh Lucas rips off a 19-yard run. Tyrone would hold the ball for 8 minutes and 27 seconds. It ended in a missed field goal, but they ate tons of time off the clock. Waynesburg's second possession in the second half. Lee Fritz on the keeper, his second touchdown of the night. They missed the kick, but it's 17-13. They have to go for the onside kick, but it goes out of bounds. Tyrone's ball. All they need is a first down. They give it to the workhorse, Jesse Jones. He gets the first, clinches the victory, and he would finish below his average for the year, but still, Jones and company are headed to Hershey.
Well, I knew they never had a running back go over 100 yards on them, and my offensive line just blocked great tonight, and I ran my heart out, and our whole defense, everything played great, and it was just a big challenge for us.
We're ecstatic, as anybody would be, to go to the finals, and we first of all, we want to congratulate Waynesburg. What a great game it was, and what a great team they have. And you got to give all the credit to them. This is a great high school football game, and we're very fortunate, and we feel real privileged to win the game and to be able to go to Hershey.
And they'll be going to Hershey to face the Red Tornadoes of Mount Carmel. They beat Northern Lehigh 25-13. This sets up a rematch of the 1996 state final between Tyrone and Mount Carmel. Mount Carmel won that one 25-6. It'll be played at noon next Saturday in Hershey. When we come back, we're going to have a preview of an all-Pittsburgh semifinal. That would be Perry and West Allegheny. And a little later in the show, highlights from Altoona, some good news for fans of Southside Beaver. Stay with us on Fox Sports Net.
As if your life depended on it.
And a reminder to check out the Tribune Review sports page, especially on Thursday. Kevin helps put together one of the best high school sections you're ever going to see, and there'll be a preview in there of all the state championship games next Thursday. The championship games coming up next Friday and Saturday in Hershey. There are 2 state semifinals set for tomorrow, and one is between 2 Pittsburgh area teams. In AAA, it's Perry from the City League. They meet West Allegheny, the AAA champion from the WPIAL. 2 years ago, they played in the semis, and West Allegheny lost 29-17. So let's take a look at West Allegheny first. Offensively, we talk about Tyler Palco. He's the quarterback. Kevin, the kid surprises me because he's such a good leader as a sophomore. He's the coach's son, but, I mean, he's got the leadership ability of a senior.
He really does, and that's something where these kids have really accepted him, and that's the biggest thing. He came in as a freshman, started as a freshman, and right away they took to him. He kind of, he has so much talent surrounding him that he doesn't have a whole lot of burden on his shoulders. But he's so much savvy for a kid his age, and he plays like a coach of somebody. He also plays like he's going to be one of the next great quarterbacks that come out of Western Pennsylvania.
All right, their offense is excellent. It gets overshadowed because their defense is so good. We saw at Three River Stadium against Bell Vernon just what they're capable of offensively. But let's talk about their defense a little bit, because it's Bell Vernon only scored 12 points against them. They're the only team that scored twice on them in any way, shape, or form of the year, though.
They have so much talent on their defense, and it's really spread out very well. Mitch Fedorko at the defensive tackle is one of the best players in the Whitfield defensively.
How healthy is he? He's had some injury.
You know what? He had hyperextended knee against in the Whitfield semifinal. He also injured his ankle. He played in the championship game, and I don't think he was at full speed. But I don't think anything's going to sideline this kid. He's a 4-year starter, and he doesn't want to come out.
Their secondary's excellent too. They're great at run support, but it's really hard to pass on them.
Well, they have 2 excellent quarterbacks in Nick Allen and Alan Miller, the 2 Allens there. They both have terrific speed. Palco's a great hitter, and I think the guy that's the most underrated defensive back is Mike Bracken. You always see him on the special teams plays, making the tackle on the punt coverage. And there you see him making, I believe that's him making an interception right there. He's a terrific player.
And, of course, you got the Campbell brothers playing linebacker, and they do an excellent job, too. Let's talk about Perry. Gus Catton East does a great job with them all the time. Of course, the City League always feels like it gets snubbed a little bit by the WPIAA. This is a chance for them to jump up and get some respect, as they did 2 years ago when they beat West Allegheny. Perry had to replace Rod Rutherford this year, and Damian Cornish did a nice job.
He sure did, and he had a lot of pressure on his shoulders. There's a guy coming in replacing the best player in the City League, and one of the most highly touted players in the nation coming out, and he's still in your backyard at Pitt. He did a terrific job, and he also had pressure by another junior there with John Harris, the other quarterback they have with him.
Well, let's talk about him. I mean, they haven't really alternated them. Harris played some in the middle of the year, although it's been Cornish in the playoffs.
Well, Harris came in when Cornish was injured. He had suffered a knee injury, and it really put some pressure on Harris to come up and perform in the middle of the season when it really counted for Perry when they were in the playoff hunt there and trying to make one of the final spots. He played very well, and he's also their place kicker and their punter, so he's not out of the picture totally.
And regardless of which one has played quarterback all year, this is the guy that's caught most of the passes, O.J. Macklin.
And he's played quarterback a little bit too. I've seen him throw a couple touchdowns out of the halfback option, but he scored on the run, on the pass, on the receptions. He scored on punt and kickoff returns, interceptions. He does it all, and he's a big playmaker for the Commodores.
All right, that game coming up tomorrow. Now, the winner of that game will go on to play Strathaven. Strathaven and Manheim Central got together on Friday night. Strathaven beat Manheim Central 30-21. Manheim Central has now been in the semifinals 4 times, but they have never won. We have to take a break. When we come back, we'll head to Altoona and check in on Southside Beaver and Bishop Carroll.
Throws intercepted at the goal line by Heath Barrett.
Teams from the Big 7 Conference in Class A have dominated in the 90s. When Southside Beaver beat Monaco a week ago, it marked the 8th Whitfield title for a Big 7 team this decade. Those Big 7 teams also have a 9-4 record in the state playoffs with 3 state championships to go along with that success. Southside Beaver was hoping to make that 4 state titles, but they needed to get past Bishop Carroll. They were going to go to the title game in Hershey next weekend. Both teams were 13-0 when they collided Friday night at Mansion Park in Altoona.
Play hard. Play harder, guys. Play as hard as you can. Never quit. Be determined. Some good things are going to happen, some bad things are going to happen, but a lot more good is going to happen than bad. Don't dwell on the bad.
Bishop Carroll coach Craig Sponsky getting them fired up in the locker room. Southside Beaver had their eyes set. That's spooky. On Hershey. First play of the game, Southside Beaver's Dan Nail. You heard his name a lot if you watched us last Saturday in the Class A title game. 26 yards he picks up and kind of sets the tone for the entire night. It set up a Sean McCune pass to who else? Nail. 35 more yards and a touchdown. They missed the point after. 6-0 Southside Beaver.
That was one of 5 touchdown passes McCune would throw. 4 of them were to Nail.
Southside Beaver would eventually get the ball back. They start moving again. Corey Boyd breaks loose for 24 yards. Now let's go to Bob Orquist of Nauticom Sports.
6-0, 1:15 to go first quarter. Fake the handoff this time now. A pass play, McCune under pressure. Breaks away from one, throwing deep, has a man open at the 5, touchdown, Southside Beaver.
Dan Smith with the score, 12-0 the score. We go to the second quarter. Bishop Carroll starts to get things going. Mike Tremble to Steve Sapp. That brings the ball all the way down to the 12-yard line, but the defense comes right back for Southside Beaver, Kev.
McCune had 3 interceptions of Tremble there. You see McCune make a lot of plays at quarterback, but he also is a terrific defensive back. It may even be his best position.
Heath Barrett picking off the pass there. That halted the Huskies' drive. Southside Beaver didn't capitalize. They give the ball back, but the defense comes up big again. Ray Tate forces a fumble. Justin Miller recovers the loose ball, and Justin takes it 56 yards for the touchdown. 19-0 Rams. And Southside Beaver driving with just over a minute left in the first half. Jared Lewis following his blockers, including McCune. He does everything. He hands the ball off and makes a block, and they go into the end zone. It's 26-0, and just before the half, Tremble gets picked by McCune again. He was everywhere in the game, Kev.
He certainly was, and they had to throw the ball a lot. They brought a guy, rusher Chad Schilling, at 1,300 yards coming in the game. He finished with 9 carries for 17 yards.
26-0 at the half. Second half mirrors the first. McCune pulls down another Bishop Carroll pass, his 3rd interception of the game. Southside Beaver forced 7 turnovers in the game. 6 of them were interceptions. And McCune caps off his own turnover with another touchdown pass. The route is on. This one to Dan Nail again. Nail had 4 touchdowns. How about McCune? He completed 6 passes in the game, 5 of them for touchdowns, 153 yards through the air. Bishop Carroll didn't roll over, though. They score a late touchdown. The game's decided, but they're still out there trying. Mike Tremble to Chad Schilling. That makes it 33-6, and Southside Beaver is looking next week to bring back the state title. How about that conference? They call it the Big Seven. There's more teams than 7 in it now, but tons of success. And I think sometimes, you know, whether you're talking about Rochester, Monaca, any of them, you can draw on the success of the conference and have a little more swagger than you would.
That's certainly the truth. It's one thing, you know, the hard part for these teams is to get out of the Big Seven and then to get through without having to play against them in the Whitfield Championships. You know, if you can get past a team like Monaca, you have a good shot to win the state title.
Southside Beaver will play Southern Columbia next week. That's a 2 o'clock game at Hershey Park Stadium on Friday. Southern Columbia beat Tri-Valley 29-22 on Friday night at North Schuylkill. Southern Columbia lost to Rochester in the championship game last year, or in 1998 last year, 18-0. Their 8th time in the semifinals. When we come back, our game of the night, Woody High and ECP. Welcome back to the studio. Fox Sports Net's fabulous 50 poll of high school football teams across America had Erie Cathedral Prep ranked number 22 in the country this week. USA Today had the Ramblers even higher at number 14, and why not? They built a 13-0 record this year with an average margin of victory 42.5 points per game. The teams from District 10 have not fared well in matchups with WPIAL teams over the years, having lost 7 of 8 semifinal state playoff games against the Whitfield since the state playoffs began. Woodland Hills was hoping to make that 8 out of 9. The Wolverines, of course, are the WPIAL Quad A champions after their win over McKeesport at Three River Stadium last week. So let's go to Hempfield High School for our game of the week. It's Woody High and ECP. Woodland Hills in the black uniforms and the turquoise, I guess they call those helmets. I think it's the official color. Erie Cathedral Prep in the whites, trimmed in orange. 25-0, the combined record of these two schools. Ramblers get on the board first. Ed Hinkle returns a punt for a touchdown, 45 yards. We saw McKeesport return a kick for a touchdown last week. 2 weeks ago, Mount Lebanon returned a kick for a touchdown. It's been a little bit of a problem for Woodland Hills. Woody High answers, though. Shante Spencer fakes the reverse, goes 18 yards around the end for a first down. And it would set up Austin Novak, that's George Novak, the coach's son, a 32-yard field goal, 7-3, Erie Cathedral Prep. In the second quarter, Gary Drapshaw of WSEE-TV in Erie picks up the call.
Fires down the sideline, running Hinkle. Hinkle pulls it in at the 20-yard line.
Following that, Eric Carlson then hits Josh Lustig for a 5-yard touchdown. The extra point was good, and Prep was up 14-3, but Woodland Hills battles back. Spencer to Jason Russell. It's good for 28 yards. Spencer was 7 out of 21 for 114 yards and a touchdown. And here's the touchdown. It's Russell again, 7 yards this time. The point after, no good. 14-9, Erie Cathedral Prep at halftime. Third quarter, Carlson jumps out again, hitting Lustig, this time for 43 yards. Carlson, 8 out of 15, 220 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also would run for 1. And Carlson keeps the ball for that rushing touchdown. Their point after was no good. The score was 20-9. Let's go back to Gary Drapshaw.
Flings it out. This time has a man over the middle. It is number 24, Raphael Smith. And Smith is bounced down at the 35-yard line. But
Rappy Smith with the reception. Woodland Hills continues to battle in the second half. Maurice Walker runs up the middle for a 14-yard touchdown. The 2-point conversion try no good. It's 20-15. Then in the fourth, Spencer hits Rappy Smith again. 28 yards here. Next thing you know, Curtis Hall smashes in for a 4-yard touchdown. It's 21-20 Woodland Hills. It's a great game, Kevin.
That's their first lead of the game. Woodland Hills outgained Erie Prep 325 to 275 yards. This is a team that Erie Cathedral Prep had been averaging 420 yards offensively coming in.
Spencer on that 2-point conversion gives Woodland Hills a 3-point lead, 23-20. Prep shows why they're number 14 in the country. Carlson hits Hinkle for 41 yards. Hinkle had 3 catches for 106 yards in the game. Then, with 1:41 to go, Carlson hits Hinkle again. 17 yards, touchdown, the extra point good. It's 27-23. Last drive for Woodland Hills, they move it. Spencer hits Walker for 17, 15 more for a face mask.
You know, you saw Hinkle make the big catch there. He had dropped 2 potential touchdowns and a possible interception there. He really wanted to redeem himself.
4th and 8, Spencer's pass falls incomplete in the end zone. Great job by both teams. Erie Cathedral Prep advances 27-23, the final.
Yeah, it was, you know, any loss is disappointing. And, you know, you get to the state semifinal, it's a tough loss. We lost to a great football team. So I'm real proud of our kids and the effort that they put forth. You know, it's tough for the seniors because, you know, they build on it for the rest of their lives. You know, sometimes you learn a lot from losing, and you know, you build a lot of character on how you bounce back from it.
That was a great football game, and some people wonder, does it matter which team won that? And that may not be fair because waiting in the wings, Central Bucks West.
Well, Central Bucks West has to play tomorrow, I believe.
Yeah, I guess you're just assuming that.
It's kind of a formality in this sense. But Central Bucks West, they're ranked number 3 in the nation by USA Today. They have a 43-game winning streak. They have a terrific fullback in Dustin Picciotti. He's a really highly recruited guy. It's something where these teams are really looking at it and saying, can we actually beat Central Bucks West? And they're almost saying, can we really even compete with these teams? They've blown out the last 2 teams that have played in the state championship game.
Yeah, no disrespect to Bethlehem Catholic. They play Central Bucks West tomorrow. Bethlehem Catholic 11-2. Central Bucks West is 13-0. That's at 1 o'clock at Lehigh University tomorrow. But as we said, Central Bucks West has won 43 games in a row. They're from Doylestown, PA. The winner of that game will play Erie Cathedral Prep at Hershey Park Stadium next Saturday at 5. When we come back, a musical tribute to our 4 Whitfield champions from Three Rivers last weekend.
No time to watch the oven?
Bukowski!
Levant, how's Burkowski?
It's obvious our defense won't be the same without him, but I heard he's getting the best care available.
And these fans are going out of their craniums as Burkowski returns. See if his box made his shoulder ogle-dogle. UPMC Health System.
If you want to get a better read on Pittsburgh, get it from the writers of the Pittsburgh Tribune-Review.
Movies were there. I mean, it was just what I always wanted to do.
I'm a social butterfly, a born party girl, overstimulated, over-entertained, and still having the most fun I've ever had with my earrings on.
I called my column originally The Art Enthusiast, and that's really what you should know about me.
Call 1-800-909-TRIB to start home delivery of the Pittsburgh Tribune-Review.
A full hour of pregame power. NFL This Morning, Sunday on Fox Sports Net.
Too late to cook breakfast.
Well, there will definitely be 2 Pittsburgh area teams playing for state titles in Hershey next week. What do you think their chances are?
Well, you know, nobody has won in AAA except for Perry from this area. You're going to see a team, you know, obviously go to the state championship game. Only twice has it happened where multiple champions come. 95, Penn Hills and Farrell both won. 93, North Hills and Duquesne. I think there's a good shot in both of those classes.
Okay, we had a good time and a good shot last Saturday of the 4 new WPIAL champions at Three Rivers Stadium, and we certainly hope you had as much fun watching those games as we did bringing them to you.
Okay, Monaco's going to kick the football away. It's blocked! It's blocked by Southside. They pick the football up and rambling into the end zone for the touchdown. David Brandon scores the touchdown for Southside. So you talk about special teams, sure enough, the Southside Rams get on the board first. Yep, full house backfield, something Monaco uses. Again, toward the ball carrier, 2-1, touchdown, Corey Boyd. There. Corey Boyd with 25 touchdowns on the year, makes it number 26. 5 plays on the drive, 43 yards. Boyd smashing into the end zone.
Waynesburg will be dressed in the visiting white jerseys and Wash High in the light blue. Simpson breaks a tackle in the backfield and goes towards the end zone. Touchdown!
A hit right here. Another hit right here, and they were excellent hits. I mean, it wasn't something cheap.
He's running right now like a man amongst boys.
Let's talk about Bell Vernon, 11-0, been here before, and West Allegheny won the championship 2 years ago. They're back here again, probably with the best defense in the state.
Short drop, there it is.
In the end zone, man, wide open.
Oh, catch for the touchdown. Oh, what a catch by Alan Miller. Over the shoulder, over the top of his head. That is beautiful. He made an NFL catch. Absolutely. He made an NFL catch.
You talk about McKeesport, they run this flex bone, wishbone, whatever you want to call it.
Watch how many moves he makes. George has still got that game face.
First and goal at the 5. Maurice Walker takes it in for the 3rd touchdown of the night for Woodland Hills as the near sidelines explodes with confetti and chants of Woody High.